Hello, everyone. My name is Esther Chavez. I am today doing my finals for math and hoping that I can prove the concept of today. I will be making a double chocolate cake with buttercream frosting that I found from the internet, and hopefully that I can prove that it's going to take a lot of math concepts to be able to pull baking this off. I've never baked a cake actually from scratch. This is going to be my first time, but I'm going to do it, and I'm hoping it's delicious afterwards. So baking is going to take a lot of math concepts of measurement, which I'm going to be measuring with these. And then I was trying to find some measuring spoons but couldn't find them. But this is going to be the teaspoon and this is going to be the tablespoon. And also it's going to take temperature. So right now I'm preheating the oven to 350 degrees. And the recipe, and these are the bowls that we'll be using, and the recipe calls for sequential order for you to place the dry ingredients together first. So I'm going to tackle that task right now. I'm going to move my, hopefully, I'm going to move my laptop here so that I could follow these orders. So it's asking for 2 cups of sugar. So this is 1 cup right here. And here's the sugar. So pardon me because I don't have anyone to film me right now, so I'm going to be doing this a lot on my own. So 2 cups of sugar. I'm opening the sugar right now. Maybe if I wedge this right here, you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the sugar. This is the sugar. I just got it heating. It's asking for me to put all the dried ingredients together. So it says preheat oven to 350 degrees. Grease 3 rounds of baking pan. So instead of greasing 3 pan, I use this 1 baking pan, and I'm going to set it aside. And then it says in a large bowl stir together sugar, flour, and cocoa. So it's asking me to put 2 cups of sugar. I'm using this bowl right here. And I'm pouring the sugar. So 2 cups of sugar. So this is just regular sugar, granulated sugar. And I'm going according to the measurements. So that's 2 cups of sugar, 1 3/4 cup of flour. So I'm going to be using this flour right here, which is regular unbleached flour. Hopefully you're catching all of this. So I'm using this flour right here. I'm opening it up. It's brand new. And it says 1 3/4. So this is 1 cup. Once again, I'm going to use this 1 cup. And I'm going to put 1 3/4 cup of flour in here. I'm trying to be as precise as possible, so I'm going to shake it around and make sure that it's settled in there. Yeah. So 1 3/4 cup. So I'm just putting the 1 cup of flour right now. Shake it around, make sure that it's leveled. So that seems to be 1 cup. And now I have to find the 3/4. So this doesn't have 3/4 cup, 3/4 measurement on it. So I'm going to turn to my other measuring cup to see if it has it. And let's see. Yes, my other measuring cup has, if you could see that, it has a 3/4, so I could measure it perfectly. So 3/4 of a cup, 1 3/4. So I'm measuring 3/4 of a cup right now, since I don't know what a 3/4 cup of 3/4 looks like, but my handy dandy measuring is able to let me know what 3/4 look like. And it looks like it's almost there. So it's not there. I'm going to continue to pour the flour until I get a 3/4 cup. And then I'm going to level it. But that seems like I overdid it, so I'm going to pour some of this back. Pour some of this back. And make sure that it's 3/4 all the way and it's leveled. I want it. I've never, like I said before, I've never, and that's 3/4. It looks like that's a 3/4 cup right there. So I'm going to pour it in with the sugar and 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. So here's some baking powder right here. And I'm going to do, I was trying to find some baking spoons, some measuring spoons, but I wasn't able to find it. I went to 2 different stores. And then, so 1.5 teaspoons. So I'm using the smallest. So this looks like it's 1 teaspoon right here. So I'm going to put it in there. And then half of that, I'm going to pour that in there. And a teaspoon of salt. So I have some salt right here. And it's asking for a teaspoon of salt. So that's a teaspoon right there of salt, and I'm going to throw it in here. So, and then it's asking for 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. So I have some baking powder right here. Excuse the camera, I had the baking powder holding it. So it's asking also for 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. Oh, I forgot to tell you that it said that the prep time for this should be about 20 minutes, and we did this about 10 minutes ago, so it is now 3:50. I should have timed it, but I think I got 10 more minutes to prep time. And then so it's asking for 1.5 teaspoon of baking soda. So let's see how we could do this without. Okay, so I'm going to put it against the measuring cup so I don't spill it accidentally into the bowl. Okay, that's 1 teaspoon. And I'm hoping that that's accurate measurement, since, like I said, I don't have the correct, I was trying to find it, the correct measuring for it. So I'm going to stir this according to the recipe. Once you've done all that, you stir in a large bowl, stir together sugar. So I'm stirring it. So in here is our dry ingredients, which is the flour. Oh, it says stir together. I forgot the cocoa powder. Hold on. So it says 3/4 cups of cocoa. So I got this Ghirardelli cocoa powder. That I found. And so I'm going to stir this in there with the dry ingredients. my first time ever making a cake from scratch. So it's asking me for 3/4 cup of cocoa. So we're going to use the this handy dandy measuring cup once again that tells me what 3/4 look like. And so I'm going to do it as precise as possible because, like I said before, it's this is the cocoa. I've never cooked with cocoa before. It was the first time for everything, so I'm leveling that off to make sure that it's 3/4, but I have a long way to go for it to be 3/4. And then I don't want to overdo it. Sorry about that. Oh, it's just been 10 minutes, so it's hit the 10-minute mark now. Trying to stabilize that. So 3/4 cup. I'm at 3/4 right now, so I'm going to stir it in with my dry ingredients. And like I said before, hopefully I'm doing this correctly and measuring it out because I know the importance. I never knew the importance of how mathematics played in baking, in cooking, baking, that you have to use like accurate measurements, sequential order, temperature, and so I'm stirring together the dry ingredients right now. And the dry ingredients is looking good. It's looking like this. And so that cocoa just kicked in and it turned to flour. I'm going to make sure that this is accurately stirred together and that it's combined. Not to see any of the whites of the flour and for the ingredients to bind together. And so now it's asking me to place the wet ingredients in it. And the wet ingredients consist of 2 eggs, a cup of buttermilk, half a cup of melted butter, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract and 1 cup of hot coffee. So I have coffee from this morning, and I turned on the coffee pot. Hopefully it would be hot enough, but if not, we can microwave it a little bit. So I'm going to start doing the wet ingredients. It's asking for 2 eggs, and it didn't specify whether they wanted room temperature eggs or what kind of eggs, but I just took, and then it says add eggs. So I'm going to add eggs to, let me put it in a bigger bowl just to be safe. Not a bigger bowl waiting. So I'm putting all the dry ingredients in a bigger bowl, hoping to accommodate the wet ingredients. Okay. So 2 eggs. So I'm going to put, it says, it didn't say, it just says add eggs. So I'm adding the 2 eggs in it. I'm kind of putting 2 eggs. So I'm putting the 2 eggs in here. In the dry ingredients that's already been mixed. And also add the buttermilk. So there's 2 eggs in there. I've just included 2 eggs in the dry ingredients. I don't know if you see that, but there's 2 eggs in there in the dry ingredients. And then And then I had to go to 2 stores to find buttermilk. So I have some buttermilk here. And it's called Bulgarian cultured buttermilk. So during this pandemic, I had to find this buttermilk. And then so it says add buttermilk, and it's asking for a cup of buttermilk. 1 cup of buttermilk. So I'm going to use this handy dandy cup thing, that measuring cup, and buttermilk's pretty thick. Didn't realize that. And that's about an accurate measurement of buttermilk goes in there. And then half a cup of butter. So half a cup of butter would be would equate to a whole stick of butter, which I didn't realize that butter had these measurements right here. So a whole cube of butter is half a cup. So I'm going to add that into our ingredients, peel it, and add it to our ingredients, that buttery goodness. And then it says 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. So this is vanilla extract right here. And I'm going to use that huge tablespoon that I had showed you earlier. And I'm going to measure 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. So a tablespoon, some of it's spilled, so I'm going to I put a tablespoon of vanilla extract in there and 1 cup of hot coffee. So I'm going to take this hot coffee that I brewed from earlier, and I'm going to use my handy dandy measuring cup, and I'm going to put 1 cup of hot coffee from earlier. So that's the hot coffee from earlier, and then I will put it in there. And then it says beat 2 minutes on medium speed. So I have a so this is what the wet ingredients looks like right now. And so it's taken me 18 minutes to, probably less than 18 because I did the introductions, to go through this whole thing. And so I'm going to beat the ingredients in medium for 2 minutes. So it's 3:50 right now. Well, let me set my kitchen timer. I have a kitchen timer right here. So we can put the kitchen timer for 2 minutes. And so I can gauge how long I can beat this thing for, and set my timer. I want this to be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to beat all these ingredients on medium for 2 minutes. It's smelling good. So let's stir this around. Make sure everything is we get all of it. Turn this off for a little while and make sure that all the ingredients are being stirred together. You see there's some dry ingredients in the bottom. You have to make sure to stir it. I'm kind of going over the prep time, perhaps because I'm a novice, but medium for 2 minutes. Two minutes is pretty long. I didn't realize. I guess when you're so that was a lot. So it says pour evenly between the 3 pans and bake on middle rack for oven for 30 to 35 minutes. So let's see if all the dry ingredients were. Yep, it looks like it's been combined. So I'm going to put this in the pan. I greased the pan. And I greased one pan in hopes that it will I'm going to put you over here.